Call the meeting to order. Mark, would you lead us in an invocation while we stand? Thank you.
Father, thank you for today, and thank you for each one present this evening, and we pray that you bless everyone here. We thank you for those that serve our community, and as mayor and council members, and those that serve our other boards, and we ask your blessings on each one of them. Thank you for the time that they give to our community. Thank you for our residents that get out and vote, and we wish that all of them would, and maybe another day, but we thank you for the ones that do vote, and we pray that you be with our community, help it to continue on good paths, and continue to grow and prosper. We ask this in Jesus' name, amen.
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, it's 6:01. We'll go ahead and open up the public hearing to receive comments from the residents concerning an appeal on the Planning and Zoning Commission's denial of a request of a conditional use permit to allow a duplex to locate at Lot 6, Block 117, here in Los Fresnos, the original town site, Zone R1, Single Family District. And also, we'll be hearing public comments for the same exact verbiage. The only difference is Lot 5, 6 Block 77, Los Fresnos original town site, Zone R1A, Single Family District. Again, at 6:02, I open this public hearing. Jackie, are we taking any public hearing? Yeah. Sir, would you come up to the podium, and you have, I believe, 5 minutes, and the time, no? Oh, it's a public hearing. Okay, yeah, go ahead, and thanks for being here today. Good evening.
Good evening, guys. First of all, I want to
Can you,
apologize.
Mike, make sure, there you go. Okay, just making
I
sure.
just want to apologize for our first meeting. Take full responsibility. I was not aware. I believe it was last month. I wasn't here. I want to thank you for letting me be here. 3 points that I wanted to point out. One is, once you start a new build, it gets the community, it gets the surrounding neighbors curious to what they're building, right? So once they start seeing a new build, they're curious to what it's going to look like. And we believe that once we build these duplexes, we're building kind of modern, unique homes, 3-bedroom, 2 full baths, 1,400 square feet each unit. It might engage the surrounding neighbors to maybe remodel their homes. At one time, all of those homes were new, and with time, they got dated. Second point is, a lot of the families starting off can't afford or not financially or stable to buy a home. And they're usually in a 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom apartment, and family grows. Maybe for one that have 3 kids and one on the way. And a 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom apartment, it's not cutting it. And they're not able to purchase a house at this moment. I mean, their kids, they're living in an apartment, have to go down the stairs, usually to go play, and more than likely they're playing on somebody's window. With this, it gives them the privacy of they can go back in their back door and have their own privacy and enjoy with the peace of mind that their kids are there in their home. And third, you're gonna have 4 families, God willing, living in those properties that more than likely they work or have family in the surrounding area. And eventually they're gonna be ready to purchase a house. And more than likely, the first place that they're gonna look for is right here in the city of Los Fresnos. Like I said, thank you again for this opportunity, and hopefully you can see our point of view, and God bless you.
Which property are you
I'm here for Lot 6, Block 77, 117, and Lot 5.
Oh, for both of them?
Both of them, yes, sir.
No, he's here for the second one, lot 5 and 6, block 77.
Yes, 77.
Jack, we can ask questions, right, Mark, from the council?
when we get to the action item,
Oh,
then
okay.
you can,
So this is just his ability to come up and be able to
just
voice his
let him
concern.
hear, and then
Okay,
you can have him, you can ask him questions here in a minute.
thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much for your time. At this time, if there's no other public comments regards to the public hearing for number 1 and number 2, we'll go ahead and stop this public hearing at 6:05. Moving on to visitors' remarks. Jackie, do we have any? Not today. Okay. Now we'll have a presentation and a report of our 2021 Conjunto Festival. So if you'd like to come on up, thank you for being here today.
There you go. Okay. Well, good evening, Mayor, Commissioners, City Manager, City Secretary, and audience. My name is Rogelio Nunez, and I direct the Narciso Martinez Cultural Arts Center. I think I've given each and every one of you a short report with a festival magazine about our 28th annual Conjunto Festival, which was almost 3 weeks ago, almost to a month now. And really, as I told the EDC board last week, I mean, we're just totally overwhelmed with joy, one, because the successful event that we had, the turnout for the 2 days, considering we had just gone through 18 months of not being able to go out and COVID and so forth. I think it was enjoyed by a lot of people. I mean, I have some quotes there from some folks who basically said, you know, I'll be back next year. This is my first time. It's great. 2 professors, and the letters are included, make comments. They're professors of, basically they follow folk music. One's from Virginia, one from Tennessee. Where they, again, visit these kinds of events. I know them. I know them in the past. They were very well pleased as well. They thought the crowd was fantastic, the dancing, the music, the friendliness. They were at the hotel. Everything that they told me after because I saw them before they left the next day, was that, you know, this is great. You know, we're going to come back. Hopefully you'll be back in full swing. Next time, when I say back full time, is that we usually have the festival for 3 days. This time we had it for 2 days. Again, due to COVID, starting late on the event, finding the monies and so forth. I think we've paid all our bills. I think we're in the black. We're thankful to the EDC and the generosity of their financial contribution to the event. And again, I have been with this now for 30 years as the director of the center. While I can express to you feelings I had in my hometown where this festival was for 25 years, my feelings at this town and this particular event was pretty much where we should be. I'm just like totally overwhelmed with the turnout. Like I said, there's people from the valley, there's people from Los Fresnos, there's people. We had 69 people from Houston, Galveston area, Rosenberg. Some were new, who had heard about the festival, had never made it. Some were repeats. There's a little survey we conducted with about 800 plus people that we talked to, asked them some simple questions: where are you from, where are you staying, so on and so forth. And I just kind of summarized that. But I think that, you know, we're getting first timers, which is great. We're getting repeats, which are great. Again, we just got to improve on, and again, that's the ways that we can work at how do we improve the festival. I mean, we always argue in ourselves that we always want to maintain the quality of the festival, which I think we've done. I think you've seen that, those that were there. The quantity, meaning more people, that's a task, but at the same time, we don't want to lose the authenticity of the event. As we said before, this is one of 2 events nationwide that does this kind of work. San Antonio, unfortunately, through COVID, has missed 2 years now of festival. They're anxious to get their festival going in May. There's a ad that they bought. I'm looking forward to, again, 2022 and more collaboration with some of the events in Los Fresnos and how we make those events and our event even better events as we move along. You know, and again, I do live in San Benito, and that's my home, but I think I have a home here as well. And so, if you have any questions, I'm here to answer any questions. Everything, like I said, police department, traffic, public works, administration, everything. I couldn't say work just like it's supposed to work. So we're very pleased with it, and thank you very much.
Thank you. The weather was incredible too.
Oh, yeah. Well, Friday was an interesting moment, and Dr. De Leon here and I, since we're the kind of the ones that start off the day, I think by 2 o'clock we were like, do we want to do this again or not? It was steamy, it was 93, it was hot, you know, we're definitely not finding that fountain of youth yet, but we pulled through. You know, Ramon here pulled through at the beer booth. I don't know if he was the beer booth or the atmosphere and so forth, but he was there both days, and we appreciate that. But I think I'm finding a few folks that are young that are willing to maybe come on and give us a big hand next year. One, which is my son. He said, you know, if I can, he's in the Army Reserve, so every time that we have the festival, it falls on his weekend to do the Army Reserve. I said, well, maybe we'll move it so that you can, he says, I can come with my friends and we can set up and tear down and do anything you want. Well, he's 20 years old, you know. And so, but anyway, thank you very much. If you've got any questions or comments, I'm here to, yes, sir. Any who?
You want to press the mic?
Well, we had the Conjunto High School group. I mean, they presented, Juan Longoria, and that group was sort of the starting group this time around. They were a little nervous, but they did 45-minute set. They did real well. You know, hopefully, you know, things are not automatic. You know, I mean, again, hopefully we can draw more from Juan and his students, and then draw more of their families to come in. We did do a little ticket where we gave out tickets for 12 and under to the Housing Authority, to the Boys Club, and to, I forget the other group, the Rendon's group, I forget, Head Start, to where we gave them 80 tickets so that they could give to their kids, so that they give to their parents, and see if we can bring them on. And only 4 of those tickets came back, so I don't know what's there, but I do have an idea, and if I mean, I don't want to take up any of your time, but I've run political campaigns in my life. Those of you who are elected have run political campaigns. I want to do a conjunto campaign where Los Fresnos is very doable. I mean, I know how it's already divided and so forth, and knock on people's door with a flyer and say, you're invited to the Conjunto Festival, you know, and then follow up right before the festival with another run through the neighborhoods on a door-to-door. I mean, we put out, and you'll see there, we spent money on K-Tex and we spent money on Tejano 102, and I'm not saying that we didn't hear the ads, but nowadays with Spotify and Pandora and all that high tech, people aren't listening to the radio that much. They're listening to what they've got on their phone. But I think if you knock on their door, and I'm not going to ask them, the easiest thing is we're not asking for a vote. We're asking for, welcome to the festival. It's in your hometown. We want you to attend, and then follow up with another visit. It'll be a door-to-door kind of thing. So that's in the works, in the mind, and I think we can do that and pass out the flyers, and hopefully we'll have a bigger, and you know, in terms of a turnout, you know, and we want more folks from Los Fresnos to turn out. I think I'm not happy, you know, quote unquote, meaning that, yeah, if I get 69 from Houston, that's a tremendous draw, you know. But I think the folks from here, and then of course surrounding areas, if 5% of Los Fresnos came out, that place we'd need a bigger place, you know. So I don't know. I think we'll figure some things out, more collaboration and so.
And one of the things, I looked at the book, me and my wife looked at it actually. We were looking through the restaurants, and a lot of them were not local. They were from San Benito, Harlingen. So maybe finding a way to incorporate using some of our local businesses to be able to see if they like to.
And that, again, I can tell you, Blanca Davis, who does all our ad sales and puts the magazine together, I mean, her world is out there, but she's slowly moving back going into this world. I know we've collaborated with the Chamber of Commerce. She's now however, she contracts out with the Los Fresnos News and doing ad sales for them as well. So we've already talked about that. I mean, she definitely feels that there's a lot of places in Los Fresnos that can contribute from the business perspective. I think we'll see that coming around in 2022.
I'm excited about the next one, so thank you very much.
Okay, so are we. That bueno. Thank you very much. Good night.
Good night. Thank you for being here tonight. Thank you.
I think we'll see a better turnout probably next year.
Mr. Munoz, you want
I
to put
believe
the
that probably
microphone?
this year was kind of slow because of the COVID and all that stuff. People still wandering around, but
I agree. I feel that I've got about at least a dozen phone calls from people from California who make it and say we're holding off. People from Chicago who, again, usually make it, we're holding off. And some people from Houston who said, you know what, we're going to let it go for this time, but count on us next year. So, yeah, I think the COVID had a major moment. We were scared to even want to see we could do something outside. You know, I'd be the first one to tell you, I wasn't very comfortable, you know, wearing a mask. And then, of course, a lot of people are not wearing a mask, and we don't know, you know. So, but I think we'll do better in 2022. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Moving on to consent agenda. Before we look at this, is there any of the 3 consent agenda items that any of the commissioners would like to set aside for us to discuss? If not, is there a motion?
I'll go ahead and make a motion that we approve the consent agenda as it currently reads.
A second.
Okay, so a motion has been made by both commissioners to approve consent agenda items 1, 2, and 3. With all those in favor, signify by saying aye and raising your hand, please.
Aye.
And all those who oppose do the same. Motion carries. Moving on to action item number 1, consideration and action to appeal the Planning and Zoning Commissioner's denial of a request for a conditional use permit to allow a duplex to locate at Lot 6, Block 117, Los Fresnos original town site, zoned R1, Single Family District. Is there a motion to be made on action item number 1?
This is the one on the corner of Mesquite and West 7th Street.
That's by that hair place towards the back, right?
Yes, sir, three streets back.
Okay.
It's on a 2 lot, is that correct? Is that 50 lots?
This is a separate one right now, actually. Yeah, this is 1. So then we'll move to 2, which is a different one, right? So this is 1 lot with a duplex, and then the next one would be the same thing, correct?
Mark, is this by the Housing Authority apartments?
It's Raintree Apartments, it's not connected with the Housing Authority.
Or it's next to the Raintree apartments, the 2 stories?
No.
The one behind the car wash?
No, sir, on Mesquite Street.
If you go down Mesquite Street, it's on corner lot. It's not behind those apartments. The ones you're talking about, it's on,
The one,
Raintree Apartments on Mesquite, it's down one of those.
There's a map on the attachment on page 3 of 4 that gives the location, and then page 4 gives you a picture and a layout of the property that's being proposed.
I think the apartments you're talking about is on Palma, right behind the car wash. That's the other apartments, but that is on, where Fifth Street would be. So this is 2 blocks behind that.
Those little squares that look like dice, those are the apartments at the Raintree, right? I'm looking at page 45. Right. Those little dice-looking squares, those are the buildings at the Raintree apartment, right? So the street on the south side is the street where I live, which is West 8th, and the one on the side that is Mesquite, is it?
Yes, sir.
Right, okay.
And Mark, on this one, originally, when it says appeal, that means that our Planning and Zoning Committee did not approve this. Is that correct?
That is correct. And the owner has the option to appeal it to the council.
So that's why it says appeal. Okay.
Yes, sir.
And what was the reason they denied it?
Because it's a single-family residential area, and they felt it should stay single-family residential, that there's other areas to put duplexes in.
And the Raintree apartments are multifamily?
Yes,
And they're just across the street?
they are in a different zone, yes, sir.
Across the street.
That block that is shown in red, That takes up 2 standard lots, does it not?
Correct.
But it's considered 1 lot, and they want to build on. There's 2 lots. Not 1 structure on each lot. What do they plan to do with the other lot? Mhm.
No,
No, no, no, no.
you're talking about the lot.
The lot-
Set on the corner.
They're going to build on 1 lot, and 1 lot is going to be vacant. Right. Okay, but my question is, do they plan to build another duplex on the other lot sometime in the future?
Single-family home, she said.
A single-family home and a duplex on the corner, next to it. Okay.
So it's not 2 lots, 50 and 50.
Page 4-4.
I'm going what it says here.
Yes.
I mean- Huh?
2 50-foot lots.
Right on the corner, they're gonna build a single family home. The one not on the inner lot is gonna be the duplex.
It just didn't show the line on it for some reason.
Because the appraisal district shows it as one.
Next to the street. And there will be a vacant lot next to the duplex.
So right now, we're only looking at number 6.
No, no, sir.
There's a space, but that big space takes up 2 lots.
Correct. Correct, because they own, the appraisal district shows it that way because they own both of them. And they're going to put a duplex on the one, an interior one, which is lot 6, lot 7, which is next to Mesquite Street, is they're gonna put a single-family dwelling is what they propose to do.
So are we
Yes,
looking at both action item 1 and action item 2, or just action item 1?
No, sir, one at a time.
Okay, so we're just looking at the lot across the street from the Raintree apartment, lot 6.
No, it's the same owner.
Well, that's a completely different item, Ray. We gotta take one at a time.
And that's at a different location. That's at a different location though.
They are different owners, and this is 1 owner that we are talking about.
Yes, this is 1 owner with that 1 lot, and then when you move to the next item, there's a different map with a
'Cause I
different.
don't see a problem doing it, but if we would have take the 2 lots, but 1 lot of 50, I don't.
May
think
I
it's gonna-
ask, how much taxes are we collecting now on that particular property as it is, without any buildings, any improvements?
I don't have that information, but not near as much without a structure.
Not as much if there were improvements on it, right?
Yes, sir.
Correct. Okay.
Our staff's comment is, if you're gonna zone things a certain way, you should stick to those zonings. If you're gonna allow zoning just whatever, wherever you want to get tax base, well, then we ought to not zone our city and let people put what they want where they want.
That's why we have
That's
duplexes,
just,
yeah.
that's, you know, if I have a single family home, generally speaking, the people that live in a single family home are much different than a duplex rental property. And so that's why you have, set up your zonings. And if you'll notice, as you move from Highway 100, you have commercial along Highway 100. Then you have a kind of a mix between business and then multi family or duplexes in 5th and 6th Street, and then 7th, 8th, and 9th, 10th is you get into single family homes, and the idea is to try to keep those pure so that the same types of dwelling units are in the same locations. Here a while back, we took all of the east side behind Dairy Queen, and we decided that whole area is a place for multifamily and duplexes. And if you notice the growth there, it's very consistent and very standard. And you have the duplexes within duplexes. You don't have a duplexes and then a single family home sticking in the middle of it. And that's kind of why you do the zoning. Same way in heavy industrial, you wouldn't want those in a commercial area.
So on Brazil and 8th is considered duplex?
Excuse me,
Brazil and 8th?
I didn't hear your question.
In Brazil and 8th, is that considered duplex area? That's where all the houses are, right where the railroad tracks are? All those are duplex. I mean,
Yes, along the railroad, yes.
Yeah.
But only on the railroad.
there's another one on 8th and Alamo, too. There's another duplex on 8th and Alamo.
Correct. You will find duplexes scattered all around. In fact, the next item, the gentleman talked, just down 4 lots from there, there's 2 duplexes. I was against that when it was approved, but it was approved, so it's okay. You approve that, or the planning and zoning approves that, and so that's final, and we're good with that. I'm just telling you the reasons for the zoning and
We should
why you
keep-
have it.
yeah.
There's also reasons why you can make an exception here and there, but if we're gonna start accepting all of them, well then, really, we should just throw our zoning ordinance out the window and not have it, is all I'm saying.
Mark, I'd like to comment. I served on the Planning and Zoning Board for 10 years. We started it actually, and the first problem we had was with mobile homes. We had them all over town, and we zoned them. We absolutely said no to any more mobile homes because it destroys the value of land all over the city. And the next thing was on multi-family dwellings like this. Once you establish a precedent, you do one, you establish a precedent, and it's gonna bite you from now on. That's the problem. You have no justification for rejecting another one down the road.
But that's us as a board, though. We're the ones that decide that. So like, again, we approve this, and we're gonna have to approve all of them going forward, and it's gonna make everything all mixed up, and
That's
it's
my
gonna
point.
throw off property values. With that said, is there a motion that can be made for action item number 1?
I had another question, Mark. Did we send out notices to the people around the area about these changes?
Yes, sir, we do that for the planning and zoning in here. How many feet?
200 feet.
200 feet is what the ordinance reads.
200? I thought it was 500.
The sample of the letter is packet page 43. If you'll look in your packet page 43, that's the letter that went out to those residents.
Attachment 1 of 4.
Okay, but nobody showed up?
We do have a duplex already on 8th Street, next to where that canning company plant used to be, right?
Yes, sir.
And that's in this same neighborhood, in the same area. I'm looking at taxes for our city that always help. So if a motion is in order, I move that we approve.
Does anybody second that?
I second it.
So a motion has been made and seconded by 2 of our commissioners. All those in favor, raise your hand or signify by saying aye. All those who oppose, do the same. Aye. So 3-3, motion dies. Moving on to action item number 2, consideration and action to appeal the Planning and Zoning Commission's denial of a request for a conditional use permit to allow a duplex to locate at Lot 5 and 6, Block 77, Los Fresnos original town site, zoned R1A, single family district. Before we take any questions, is there a motion? Okay, motion has been made by one of our commissioners, and is there a second?
I second it.
Okay, motion has been made and seconded by two of our commissioners. At this point, is there any questions or comments in regards to action item number 2? If not, all those in favor signify by raising your hand or saying aye.
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 And all those who oppose do the same. Aye. 3-3, motion dies. Moving on to action item number 3. Consideration and action to approve a resolution by the City Council of the City of Los Fresnos requesting financial assistance for the Texas Water Development Board, authorizing the filing of an application for assistance and making certain findings in connection therein. Mark, you want to add
Mr. Mayor,
something?
members of the council, if you'll remember when we were talking about the COVID funding that we had, that it's specifically for water and sewer, which you approved to do that. We were concerned about drainage, and I said I had located a 50-50 grant that will provide us funding that will do a drainage study for the whole town, but it will also immediately be able to fix Resaca Escondida, which is the one that we call Falcon Lake, that connects to the dead Resaca by the nature park. Fix the drainage for that. It'll also improve drainage on Valle Alto subdivision. If you'll recall, that was another area of concern, and then along Whipple Road. So this is the first step to do that. You approved last time for us to do that. They asked us with our application to have a resolution, and so we're asking for that, a resolution to be approved.
Mark, this is not allowing fresh water to keep fresh water in there. This is strictly drainage?
Strictly drainage. We're looking for additional money to do that. We can still do our old-fashioned way, which is we work with Irrigation District number 6, and we put a tractor at the Resaca north of the high school, pump it from behind and into the Resaca. So we do have a way to get that happen. We haven't had to do it because the rain has come at the right time over the last couple of years, but we at least have a way to do that for the time being.
It would be beautiful to have fresh water and perch and have fishing for little kids out there with pears on the nature park. It would be incredible.
Yes, sir. That is part of, we've had one of the things that you ask is for us to develop a 10-year master plan for what's next at the nature park, and instead of, each time doing a program. So we've had an initial meeting with the group of volunteers as well as the park board, and that is one of the high things on the list is freshwater in, dredging it, and then also with Texas Parks and Wildlife, specifically the fisheries, we'd love to stock it with fish so that kids could go fish. It'd be cool.
That'd be
But
nice. That's a different
another project. Yes, sir.
Thank you for the explanation, Mark. At this moment, is there a motion that can be made from any of the council?
I so move as stated for approving the resolution.
Okay, motion has been made and motion has been seconded. At this point, all those in favor signify by saying aye or raising your hand. Aye.
Aye.
All those who oppose do the same. Motion carries. Consideration and action to approve the write-off of bad debt for lot mowing invoices from 2020 to 2021 fiscal year. Now, Mark, on this, is this where we have people that have high grass and we go in there and mow it and then we bill them and they never pay?
Yes, sir. These are the ones that, they live elsewhere and there's no track of who owns it. When it's a major cleanup of a lot, we will file a lien. However, liens, I think, I can't think of his name. John Guevara, told this board how liens work. And so if I go buy one of those lots and it has a lien on, it's called a secondary lien. And so it's not recognized by the state as one that this new owner has to pay. So we only put them on liens for large amounts anymore because they're worthless. And so it's a lot of work to put a lien on it, and then it gets sold and you have to forgive it anyway.
When the county sells them for taxes, not paying taxes, you cannot get a title till you pay the city for mowing.
No, sir, there's a new law that they call that I think it's called a secondary lien, and those new owners do not have to do it for the mowing.
When did this start?
A few years back, we even tried to strong arm a few people. There's a couple of attorneys out of Harlingen that not everybody knows the law that well, but those couple out of Harlingen know it, and so we went through this and ended up having to forgive those liens anyway, and it used to be.
I paid it, I didn't know, so.
So there's 14 lots that haven't paid according to these attachments, is that correct?
That's as of the end of
And
2019. We do a couple years behind so that we can try to do whatever we can to collect them.
First United Methodist, is that a church or what is that?
Yes, it was before, in the meantime, when they closed down before they sold it, and they're not in existence anymore.
All total is $3,770 that is owed?
Yes, sir.
I think the new owner, whoever buys the property, should pay at least half of that, reimburse the city.
But you
I
said-
agree with you. State of Texas law says otherwise.
That's why you said the secondary liens are not recognized.
Correct.
So if they go and try to sell it, it's not going to count against them. Any motion to be made on action item number 4?
I make a motion that we consider the action to approve the write-off.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded by our commissioners. At this point, all those in favor signify by raising your hand or saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. And all those who oppose to the same? Motion carries. Action item number 5, consideration and action to reappoint or appoint a member or members to the Los Fresnos Housing Authority. And it looks like we had Mr. Abrigo that was up in September, and he chose not to run anymore. And we have a Garrett, Robin Garrett, that has turned in an application. Is all her paperwork in and everything? Any questions, comments on action item number 5? If not, anybody want to make a motion?
I make a motion that we accept Garrett Robin V.
I'm sorry, did you make a motion to accept it or to approve it?
Yes, to approve it.
Okay, motion has been made and seconded. Commissioner, did you have something you wanted to say? Herrera? I saw you say something. Okay, no problem. Just wanted to make sure. So motion has been made and seconded. At this point, all those in favor signify by saying aye or raising your hand.
Aye.
Aye. And all those who oppose do the same. Motion carries. Moving on to acknowledgement of city managers' reports. Is there a motion on acknowledgement of city managers' reports?
I move that we accept the, accept and acknowledge the city manager's report.
Okay, motion has been made
Second?
The motion has been seconded by two of our commissioners. Any questions or comments in regards to any of the topics on the city manager's reports?
I had a question.
Yes, sir.
Mark, where are we with regard to that Henderson Road project?
They completed the west side. They have moved back to the east side, and as of today, closed the road so that they could do those that work that was approved. They said no more than 3 weeks, and then it'll be complete, all of it. So getting very close.
So 3 weeks, more or less?
Hopefully, yes, sir.
Good, thank you.
Mark, any update on the, what is it, 10th Street, that low-lying area that had that drainage issue? Is that part of the, anything going on with that?
Engineer is getting the documents so that, and the scope of work, so we can get it approved through FEMA and the federal government to utilize those funds.
Do you know when that more or less can be taken care of? Do we have a time frame?
You know, probably by the time you get the funds and bid and everything, you're talking 6 to 8 months at least.
Okay.
We have done some things that will help that. We've ordered those larger horsepower pumps. I think I reported to you. They have not come in. I think everybody blames COVID on everything, but that's what they use as an excuse. We really think that those will help, even with a large rain, because if you're pumping another 1,500 to 2,000 gallons a minute, that's a lot of water pumping and getting it into our sewer plant, and hopefully that'll help. But we're on it.
How about 1575? You know how we had those residents come in and we had that concern with their, with the issues they had? How's that coming along?
The last report I sent y'all was that we had done all of our work. The last rain, no one had any backups, so that was, and it was a pretty heavy rain. The intersection of Stanford Road and 1575 still floods, but that's work that TxDOT needs to do in the county. We can't do that work. It's not in our city. It's not in our jurisdiction. I sent word back through to the state and the county. This TxDOT came back and said, well, we're going to redo that road in 5 years, and so we'll fix it then. And Commissioner Garza was part of that because they're responsible for Stanford Road piece, and he said, let's get together. That's absolutely not acceptable, 5 years from now. So we're still working, trying to make them do what they should do, but it hasn't happened yet. But the good thing is our part's done and there was no backups.
Thank you, Mark, for that. And the last thing I just wanted to ask you in regards to the hike and bike trail, I went and jogged the other day and it looks like they got the cement there. They just haven't filled it. Do you know when that will be complete?
They're supposed to, the rest of this week, continue to, they've got the concrete borders to 100, finish filling in and packing the concrete in the base, and if they can get approval of the compaction, then they can pave at the end of next week. If not, it'll roll into the following.
Thank you. It's a really nice trail and I look forward to it being complete. Thank you.
Any progress on that Escalante Road thing that?
Yes, I have the surveying information, and it's much different than what we thought. We thought a lot of those property owners, their property came out into the road. It actually isn't. It's all on the school's property. And so I have met with a school to show them where the road is and see if we can move a couple of things and get the right of way. They're willing to. That was where the old town side of Los Fresnos is. So there's some roads in there and alleys that they need closed. And so what we're trying to do is we'll help get those closed, and those property owners will allow and not go against closing those other old right-of-ways if they will give the right of way for Escalante Road. So that's what I'm working with the school district on. I meet with Jim Rose, which is their engineer, tomorrow to see how much we have and what they can give up. There's a little problem when you go into Escalante Road and you go straight and you turn, it kind of goes to the left. It goes down to like 12 feet there. And so we're seeing if we can expand to some more of the school's property to be able to make that work. So, working on it.
Is one of the lift stations, the one on 8th Street, is that you're gonna fix? You said 3 lift station. Is one of that one on 8th Street and the other road next to Brazil? Right down the corner where they have the motor mobile one?
There's one on Alamo and 9th Street, and then the
It's Alamo now.
that's where we're putting the new pumps and motors.
Yeah.
And then there's the new one that we did, but it's closed out. I took it off because it's operational. The one on 9th Street in Nogales that we moved from behind somebody's residence, that is complete.
Ah, okay. Yeah, because I think one of the guys that lives there say that they can't sleep because the engine goes on and off, on and on that one.
Yes, there's been a gentleman come and contacted Jackie, and he said he might be here tonight. We're having to use some bypass pumps to help pump, which is a generator, and so that engine is running. He says it bothers him. I think it's far enough away, but we don't want it running either, but it has to run in order to pump the sewage. But as soon as those pumps come in, that generator bypass pump goes away.
Thank you, Mark.
One thing that y'all didn't ask about that I wanted you to, back there on the tables is the 90% complete plans for Whipple Road. Yeah, hip hip hooray.
Yeah. I didn't even know
They
that.
feel like they can get it in the existing right of way. And so if you could take a few moments today before you leave, or tomorrow come in, or next day, to look at it, and if you see anything that maybe I haven't seen, Carlos hasn't seen, the other engineers haven't seen, we want to say we're good to go. I have a few questions with sticky notes on there that, and we can add more and give that to them. So that's very, very good news.
Excited about that.
Yes.
Great. Well, at this point, we've acknowledged and we've had a motion and a second for acknowledging the city manager's reports. All those in favor of acknowledging it, raise your hand or signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. And all those who oppose, do the same. The motion does carry. Next up, we have acknowledgement of the department head reports. Is there a motion to be made?
I so move.
I second.
Okay, motion has been made and seconded for acknowledging department head reports. Is there any questions or comments anybody would like to ask at this time? If not, all those in favor, raise your hand, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And all those who oppose, do the same. Motion carries. At this time, it's 6:49. We have a closed session, deliberation pursuant to section 551.072, Title 5 of the Texas Government Code, the Texas Open Meetings Act, regarding the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real estate. So again, 6:49, we'll be entering closed session. And I'll close the regular meeting. Thank you.
It won't take but a few minutes.
Okay, at this time, we are coming back in, closing our closed session, and opening our meeting back up at 6:59. In regards to open session and deliberation pursuant to Section 551 of the Texas Government Code, Texas Open Monthly Meetings Act, the purchase, exchange, lease, value of property, the council authorizes our city manager to proceed with purchasing the properties on Whipple Road.
Second.
Oh, yeah, I motioned and seconded. At this point, all those in favor signify by saying aye or raising your hand.
Aye.
Aye. And all those who oppose do the same. Motion carries. At this time, we adjourn the meeting right at 7 o'clock. Thank you very much and have a great evening.